Dear friends and companions, with another greeting, we arrive at the review of the second part of the Persepolis series. What was Persepolis like before its destruction? In recent years, due to extensive damage to the structures of Persepolis, this site has been restored multiple times. In 1930, the restoration of Persepolis was carried out under the supervision of an American archaeological team. During the excavation, the inscription of Xerxes was discovered, and in this way, they were able to identify the palace of Xerxes' queen. A few years later, in 1935, a German team restored some of the inscriptions and reinforced the palaces and columns of the Apadana palace. The restoration process of Persepolis continued until 1940, which led to the discovery of many artifacts and inscriptions from this area. Many of these artifacts are kept in the Persepolis Museum, and some of the discovered items are housed in the National Museum of Iran. The buildings and palaces constructed in Persepolis, due to their location at the foot of Mount Rahmat, which was also known as Mithra, enjoyed a very beautiful view overlooking the valleys and plains. Because the Persepolis complex was like a small city, the spaces between the palaces were designed like streets, and the inner quarters of the complex were divided with a special order and a modern layout. It is worth mentioning that these palaces were also used for holding festivals and various ceremonies. The plumbing system in Persepolis has always been considered one of the most outstanding examples of architecture from that era. To direct the flowing water and rain, channels were used that ran through all the streets, each 7 feet deep, guiding the water away. Overall, all aspects of the architecture of this complex, including landscaping, urban planning, interior decorations, and the separation of royal residences from residential areas, have, throughout the years, served as credible evidence of Iran's ancient heritage. The height of Persepolis' glory dates back to the Achaemenid Empire, before Alexander's invasion and its burning. A time before the destruction of Persepolis, when it was still intact and its architecture and splendor shone throughout the world. Although today only ruins remain of this ancient Persian palace, thanks to recent advancements, with the help of artificial intelligence, we can now provide you with images and paintings from that era. Alexander the Great, believing that Asia was a gift from the gods, threw a spear toward the soil of Asia to declare his intention to seize the Achaemenid kingdom. On his way to Persepolis, he destroyed everything that stood in his path. He then continued from Babylon to Susa, one of the capitals of that era. After destroying this city, he sent a large portion of his army toward Persepolis. In fact, Alexander the Great, along with his army, ended the era of greatness and glory of Persepolis by attacking Iran in 334 BC, setting it on fire and plundering its houses. By setting fire to the palace of Xerxes, he demonstrated the hatred he held for the Achaemenid kings. But this was not the end of the story. The fire spread to other parts of this historical structure, causing widespread destruction. It is said that a short time after Alexander set Persepolis on fire, he regretted his actions and even stayed in this building for a while. For this reason, he decided to deny that he himself had set fire to Persepolis and to make someone else appear responsible for this act. But the benefit of the burning of Persepolis was that many of the inscriptions written on raw clay tablets during the Achaemenid era were baked in this event. When thoroughly dried raw clay is carefully exposed to intense fire, it gradually transforms into durable pottery, which is precisely why pottery subsequently becomes significantly more resilient and long-lasting. Based on this claim, the inscriptions of Persepolis have remained intact to this day. 4 capitals that were built in 4 important and main locations of ancient civilization. They were considered the capitals of the Achaemenids, where they lived throughout their reign and rule. Babylon at the center of Mesopotamian civilization, Ecbatana at the heart of the Median civilization, Susa in the Elamite civilization, and Parse, which became known as Persepolis, the main center of the Achaemenid government, meaning the land of Pars. These were the names of the 4 capitals. Persepolis was always used for major global gatherings of that era, as well as for holding religious and ceremonial events and important festivals. It held great significance for the Achaemenid kings. All the representatives of the provinces under the empire at that time would gather from the farthest corners of the world to celebrate the great festivals alongside the king. In the magnificent art and impressive architecture prominently displayed by that truly benevolent and enlightened government of the era, one can clearly and profoundly observe a deep sense of tolerance, genuine humanism, unwavering justice, and a remarkable spirit of forgiveness. It is worth mentioning that Persepolis has always been a symbol of grandeur during the Achaemenid era, and is regarded as an expression of the power and greatness of those kings. This magnificence demonstrated to everyone from different races, whether from Egypt, India, Libya, the Caucasus, Central Asia, the Aral Sea, or the Persian Gulf, that regardless of race, creed, or language, all people were equal and members of a single society. In the construction of Persepolis, one of the main platforms was about 457 meters long and faced the western plain, and its length was designed to be 1/3 less than its width. The magnificent platforms in the grand construction of ancient Persepolis were meticulously constructed with robust local gray stones, and these durable stones, specifically utilized in the substantial body of the platform with their numerous intricate components and exceptionally high cohesion, have remarkably remained entirely intact and perfectly preserved even after numerous years. The stones were carved with great precision and delicacy, and were joined together using swallowtail clamps made of iron or lead as mortar. A low wall was also constructed on the western side of the platform to provide a view of the plain. They also placed water channels within the stacked stones so that water could reach all areas of the platform and carry away any excess. Meanwhile, a water channel measuring 1 meter and 20 centimeters in length and 2 meters in depth was placed on the platform. Near the northern section and within the body of the platform, 2 sets of staircases were positioned opposite each other, with a height difference of 10 centimeters per step and a width of 7 meters. These large staircases were constructed in such a way that they gradually increased in height, allowing horses to easily ascend them. It is said that Persian officials and kings, as well as Medes, used the staircase on the right, while distinguished individuals and officials from other nations used the staircase on the left. Here we come to the end of the second part of the Persepolis series. Until the next episode and your continued companionship and seeing you again on this channel, I entrust you to the gracious God. Wishing you happiness and success.